Welcome to the Sanity Project podcast, where you can awaken your mind to clarity and success even in today's life challenges. We're here to provide insights and solutions that will help you live a sane, healthy, and prosperous life. Here's your host, Joanne Victoria.
Hello, everybody. This is Joanne Victoria with another amazing and today timely episode of the Sanity Project podcast. You are here to discover a life of clarity, confidence, sanity, and entrepreneurial success. Our guest today is a friend of my personal friend, as well as a friend of the podcast. Her name is Eileen Bild, B-I-L-D. She has written a book called Embrace 5 Principles of Core Thinking for Success, and stay on if you want to hear more about that later. And she's the CEO of Ordinary to Extraordinary Life. She's co-founder of OTEL Universe and founder of the Core Thinking Blueprint Method, which you can find more about at thecorethinkingblueprint.com. She's an author, an internationally syndicated columnist, Breakthrough S.P.A.R.K coach, we'll ask about that, and branding specialist. Welcome to the show, Eileen Bild.
Thank you, Joanne. I am really excited about being on your show today.
Well, I'm excited too, because I think your topic is one that is quite necessary. We think it's necessary now, but I think it's necessary always. And it's how to go from breakdown to breakthrough. So what do you have to tell our audience that they can listen to and apply into their lives?
Great question. And, I want to start with the idea of thoughts are very powerful, and nothing really happens until we have a thought, and then the emotion is attached to that. And then we take action and make decisions. And what's happening that I see in society today is a lot of decision making and reaction versus responsive actions are coming from a foundation of fear and or stress, uncertainty. And what I'd like to share today in talking with you is we can be in the world and not of it, and to be able to thrive by using certain tools and skills to move forward with success.
Well, before the show, I said that things like this, i.e. drama, world drama, has been going on for decades. So, but I think that this one is bigger, whatever we're going through and have been going through for the past couple of years, plus today. This is big to get our attention. So what are we supposed to do with knowing that, first of all, somebody is trying to get our attention to make some change in our lives and in the world? What can we do?
That's another great question. The way I look at it, is we're at a pinnacle right now, I feel. We're at that stress point. So when there's a breakdown and we work back up through to the breakthrough, you hit a stress point where there's a lot of pressure in different aspects of life. And to be able to feel confident and comfortable to step out of comfort zones and step into that breakthrough, it requires an understanding of the self, your thinking, your belief systems, your perceptions. And I've been an observer of the last 2 or 3 years. That's kind of the basis of my coaching work, is to observe and piece the dots together and the puzzle pieces together to see, what's really going on with an individual. But we are being, I think, impacted more these days by the macro that's going on. So as an individual, that micro, what do? We have to stand firm in our truths and authenticity. Now, truth is a variable, and what we believe might be true today could be proven to ourselves, or we could prove to ourselves that it's not true. So, truth is a small part of being able to push through and effortlessly the breakthrough. And one of the keys is to really know who you are. Who are you in all this mess? Who are you in the chaos and the drama that seems to be, if not daily, hourly. And it's to step back, to observe, to really pay attention. And you mentioned, awareness or trying to get our attention. And I believe that's true, that we are being guided in some way, shape, or form to take ourselves into a higher level of awareness so that we're not repeating history and we're not caught up in the drama and the chaos, but instead we become part of the solution. And the only way you can become part of any solution is to look at it from the observer perspective, listen to all sides, look at all angles, and then find that central point that's going to move the dial from one place to the next.
Yeah. I personally choose to hide out.
Well, you could do that too. Go to an island and just wait, Well,
I wish I could go to an island and just wait, but then I worry about the state of the island. It does push, for those who are listening, it does push the borders of one's paranoia, for sure, to wonder, what am I participating in? How can I move away from it? Do I have to be a part of it? And what's in it for me? Because that's what people want to know. I think that people need to be more quiet. I mean, when I say I hide out, I don't mean that literally. It's just that I don't participate in the negativity, very little. I don't want to go to war with anyone. I don't want to be at war with myself. And I think that that's what's happening right now, is that people are at war with themselves. And they're arguing about their own belief system that they've carried with them for decades, and which is fine if it's a problem. But if it's not a problem, stop questioning yourself. So how can you help people who are questioning themselves and thinking, oh, I've done something wrong, I'm making this happen? What do we do? What do you tell people?
Yeah, so I tell people to really take a hard look at what are you listening to, who are you listening to, what are you watching, what is a feel-good experience and what is a not feel-good experience, and to put your focus more on what feels good. And it does take practice. It does take concerted effort to shift away from what's pulling you down and pulling you into the uncertainty, the anger, the fear, the challenges that are put before us every day. And define, live life on your terms as best you can, but not in a way that creates more issues, but in a way that you can be inspired yourself, but also inspire others to want to be like you and do what you're doing. Because people need guidance. People need something to look to that takes them away from where they've been pulled into. And the only way to do that is choice. It's to look at the choices that you make on a daily, momentarily basis. And is that taking you towards where you don't want to be and don't want to go? Or is it taking you towards growth and transformation and a higher awareness and love? Love is not part of drama, chaos, war. And I think we've lost sight of what love provides. And I'm not talking romantic love. I'm talking about compassion, love, understanding of other people. And inherently, we all want to be heard, valued, and understood. But there's so many parameters put around things today that one day you could be on top of the world, and the next day it's been stripped out from under you, or you've been stabbed in the back. And it happens in social media, it happens in the work environment, and it happens in the personal environment. So how do you thrive when all of that is a potential and or you have experienced it? It's to brush yourself off and find out where maybe boundaries need to be stronger, where your courage may need to be strengthened, where your confidence level is. And again, what are the choices that you're making?
Yeah, it is all down to choice. And I know that there are people going to be saying, I don't have any choice. I don't have any freedom to choose. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And Eileen is going to tell you why you have choices and how you can make these choices a reality. But you do have a choice. You have a choice every moment of every day. I had a choice here today. We all have choices. You just have to decide that you're responsible enough to make a choice so that you don't diminish yourself. So, Eileen, for the people who say, and I know there are going to be some saying, I don't have a choice because this controls me, that controls me. How do they, make choices and still and not think that they are being controlled by outside whatevers?
Choice is something that comes from deep within. It's not a mental, it comes through the mental mind, but it's actually coming from either the heart center or what I call the solar plexus center, your stomach center. Whenever something doesn't feel good, you're going to feel it either in your head, in your heart, or in your stomach. So the choice of being able to get out of something that feels very controlling and manipulating is to define for yourself, what can I do differently? One small change, one big change, whatever you're comfortable with, that can move me closer to getting a further distance from the control and manipulation. Now, when it comes to war, there's a little bit more stringent parameters around it. But for the sake of this conversation, I want to leave it to the individual experience, whether it's personal or business. There's always going to be difficult people around us. There's always going to be someone who might want to pull you down, control you, play the manipulation game. And what I like to share is study. Take people, anytime I have someone come into my life that appears to be controlling, manipulating, and not in alignment with who I am and how I live in this world, I shift my perception of them from I'm trying to collaborate and work with this person to, okay, I'm going to use this as a study. And I pull out my toolbox. And anytime something comes to me from them, I determine what tool I need to use from my toolbox, what skill. What do I need to say? How do I need to respond? And I test them. I test myself. I believe, the universe testing us as well to give us that strength, that foundation of strength in order to process through challenging situations. So we do, as you said, Joanne, absolutely, we have choice. And we have to have that mustard seed belief that the choice that we make will move a mountain. Now, that mountain may move just enough that we may not see it, but it's moved a little. We have so much power within ourselves to create change, to create opportunity, possibility, that I think sometimes it's scary for people to think that they have that power. And people who are manipulating, controlling, they tend to have success with people who have some weakness in something. So it's to also look at where are your weaknesses. And, if someone comes to you that's strong and pushy and maybe bully, it's to recognize in yourself, what is it that's triggering in you? And then you want to try to work on eliminating that trigger so that you're not triggered and you can stand strong. And the interesting thing is, Joanne, that when you have strong boundaries and you have unlimited confidence and courage, you have clarity, people actually respect it. And I can tell you, I've had plenty of experiences with people who have either tried to tear me down or manipulate me or control me. And when I'm very strong in defining, all right, don't go beyond this point, and I'm teaching them how to treat me, they actually two things will happen. They actually either walk away, you never see them again, or they keep coming back to kind of test you. And I would keep doing making my choices and standing true to my boundaries and what works for me. And ultimately, when they come back, they surrender. And it's so cool because their behavior, their attitude will change. And sometimes they'll give a big sigh at some point. They'll start laughing at some point. I mean, it's almost miraculous how it happens, but it is a process. And it starts within us, and then we piece it out, parcel it out for understanding what works, what doesn't work with this person, because each person's going to be different in how they receive it, but the process is always the same.
Well, I want listeners to know that neither Eileen or myself want you to go around trying to change others. This is about changing yourself so others respond to that change within you. Yes?
Exactly. Because other people don't like to be told, you need to, oh my gosh, and a finger pointing at you, right? I mean, I know probably everybody listening has had that happen in their life, and you just cringe. It's like as soon as you see a finger and you hear you need to, you just kind of start to want to ball up. And instead, it's taking responsibility for yourself and what is coming to you, because life is happening through us, for us, by what shows up. And it gives us a guidepost of what we're doing, thinking, saying, believing in, perceiving, that is aligning or not aligning with our passions, our visions, our dreams, where we want to go, where we're taking ourselves. And it's kind of like a dance. We're dancing with the universal natural laws. We're dancing with the people that come into our life, and we're dancing with our own mind, body, spirit aspect. And when all of those are aligned and put together in a harmonious way, magic happens.
Absolutely. I want to get back to the toolbox that you mentioned, because if I thought about it, others thought about it. So I made a list of what you said, some of the things that you said, which I presume are in your toolbox, so that others can work on it as well. And we can add things in here so that others can, what do I need to do with this jerk? They're going to be a part. Well, especially if they have to be a part of your life, or they already are a family member part of your life. How do you handle them? Oh, handle is a strong word. How do you facilitate the process? Same bad
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so I have confidence, courage, boundaries, clarity, and respect as tools.
Yes,
that makes sense.
Absolutely. So those are like strong foundational tools, and there's tons more. But with those tools, you want a skill set. So that's the key. So you can have those tools, but it also requires skill set to be able to use those tools in a productive, positive way for the outcome that you desire.
Okay.
Do you want me to give you an example?
Yeah, give me an example, because I'm thinking that, so somebody's listening going, what does she mean by that? So okay. give me an example so that they know what to do. This is a teaching moment, as Oprah is so fond of saying. And, this is a teaching moment.
Right.
One of many here on this podcast.
One of many, yes. So I'm going to start with clarity. Clarity, I think, is where a lot of people have challenges, and they question themselves. They make a decision, and then they may, for days, months, years, try to, rationalize it or change it. And clarity is key as one of the tools. In order to have a skill set, in order for clarity to work in a way that moves you forward in the world, not of it, with having great outcomes, the skill set associated with that is there's two of them. One is to quiet the mind, exercise, and then the power of the pause. So real quickly, I'm just going to say this rhetorically. How many times have you sent a text to someone, send a message, an email, a phone message, and you wait and you wait and you wait and you're impatient because they haven't answered. And then all of a sudden your mind goes off and says, well, did I say something wrong that might have hurt them or, caused them to misunderstand what I said? And I mean, the mind just tumbles and tumbles and tumbles. Well, that happens in those instances, but it happens for people on a daily, nightly basis, and it causes insomnia and stress and so many other symptoms. So quiet the mind is very, very, very important. And the pause. It's okay to give yourself permission to pause before you start to stress and worry and fret and cause all these unnecessary, heightened, alert emotions and feelings. So getting a grip on those two to develop a skill set in understanding and implementing the power of the pause, and then quiet the mind. Meditation. There's all kinds of types of music that calms the body down. I think what's happened, Joanne, with people these days, they're in a chronic state of fight or flight.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I totally agree. And I know people, I could go, my God, they want to fight.
Yes.
And I walk away somehow, whatever it is. I put my mind on something else, whatever tool that I use, it's like being able to see, number one, that they want to fight, because that's all they want to do is fight, because they need somebody to fight with, and they can't fight with whatever, the bigger powers. So they're going to fight with me, and I'm not willing to participate.
Right. And I think some of that fight or flight is part of what we talked about earlier in just the nature of the human species today, I'm going to say, is there's so many things that we are against. And I'd like to encourage people to not look at something as being against or against you or you being against. It's where is the commonality? What is it within you that you want to see in others and in your experience? And find a reason to see it, find a reason to find that. And that clarity that might be eluding you will help you to see and feel and hear what is being shut off right now because of that fight or flight that the head has taken you into.
And I also want to tell listeners, with this box of tools that you're going to be putting together or adding to or deleting from, once you start practicing these perspectives, which is primarily taking care of yourself, this is what it is all about, creating boundaries, having more courage, more clarity, more respect, confidence in yourself as relates to others. It might seem like, it's work. I don't want to do anything new. I don't want to. Well, that's a 4-year-old. So let's move forward to at least becoming 14 and then practice these things. Once you start practicing with people who want to fight, it'll come automatically. It'll become a part of who you are, that you do not want to engage, that you go to your own pause, that you quiet your own mind. And it's not an effort. It's no longer an effort. I don't know if it's an effort to begin with some people, but for those people who think it's work, it may take a bit, but it's not going to take 10 years.
No, and you are absolutely correct. And what came to mind that I'd like to share an analogy to is if you go work out at the gym on muscles you haven't worked out in a long time, you're going to build those muscles, and over time you're going to feel stronger and better and healthier, and you're going to want to continue to keep those muscles in the shape that they've formed into. This is the same thing. You're just building the muscles that haven't been used in a while, your emotional, your mental, your perspective, belief muscles, all those muscles that have either been destroyed or just kind of commodulated. They're not in a strength state. They're kind of in a weakened state. And I agree with you 100% that it becomes a way of being. So it doesn't take any effort. At some point, there's a shift, and it's a noticeable shift that when you communicate, when you make decisions, when you get up in the morning, it's automatic, a way of how you are showing up, how you are responding. And the awesome thing about it is once it goes into that shift, it only gets better. It can only get better because you don't want to go back where you came from. So your all parts of your system will be guiding you and putting you in a place where the other behaviors, the other actions don't exist, because you want to support and continue in that next step direction. And I call it the spark. When that spark happens, you're in a whole nother paradigm. And that's a scientific fact. We have neural pathways that are changeable. And I've experienced it more than once. And it's very, you can feel it, sense it. You experience it. It's almost like when you have an aha, right? So it's a huge aha, and you almost sit back and laugh when you realize, oh, so this is what it's like, and all the worries of it being hard and a lot of work just disappears. And then, you're going to go to another level after that.
Well, I know there are going to be people who want to hear more from and about Eileen Bild. So, Eileen, where can they find you, and where can they find you?
Great questions. So, my core thinking website is corethinkingblueprint.com. I also have OTELUniverse.com. I am on LinkedIn. I am on Facebook, Eileen Bild. I do have a Instagram, Eileen.Bild. And, I have an email if you want to email me directly, coach@eileenbild.com.
And if you look at my website, where Eileen Bild has her podcast interview with me, you will see in the little fine print that there is an opportunity for the viewers to get a free ebook. And the free ebook is called Embrace 5 Principles of Core Thinking for Success. And that's going to be aligned with the interview today with Eileen Bild. And you will see how it can benefit you, and you'll keep it in your life. Read it all the time. I want to thank Eileen Bild for being here today. We discussed very earth-shattering possibilities, and you just have to pay attention, people. Listen to this podcast again, share the podcast with your friends, share the podcast with your family, share the podcast with people you don't like. Sit down, get your yellow pad out, and take notes by hand. That's it. In fact, I just bought an ink pen, and I have to open up the package so I can start writing using my new pen. So I want to thank you for being here today, Eileen. It's been great, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Joanne. I've really enjoyed it. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Sanity Project podcast. Please go to AskJoanneVictoria.com to listen to more podcasts. Check out Joanne's coaching programs and get a free copy of her report, 5 Steps to Achieve Life-Work Harmony. That's AskJoanneVictoria.com. Take care, and thanks for being here.